Good morning. So I'm on a beautiful dog walk this morning. The sun is out, the sky is blue, yet the air is freezing again. But I thought it's the perfect time to have a walk, a talk and a chat. Oh, and just fall over a stone. So the Bronte family is known for their remarkable writing, but they are also devoted animal lovers. And as an animal lover myself, I find it fascinating how much comfort and companionship animals can bring. And the Brontes clearly felt the same. At Haworth Parsonage, they shared their lives with a variety of creatures, from loyal dogs and affectionate cats to birds and even geese. These animals weren't just background figures, they were deeply loved, and in some cases they even made their way into the Brontes' novels. So stay with me as we uncover the story of the Brontes' beloved pets and explore how animals shape both their daily lives and their famous works. So I started off on a dog walk and it was beautiful and the weather was lovely and it started getting warmer and warmer and I took layers off and I found all these lovely places to disappear, to sit down and talk with you. Well, the universe had other ideas. So let's put it this way, there is no recordings from my beautiful sitting down in the countryside. So I've just got home. I'm here at the bottom of the garden in what we call the hut. And the dog's mooching about. So I've come in here instead because it's such a lovely day. Now somebody has got a chainsaw out. This is why I don't record in the countryside, because everyone says, oh, the peace of the country. It is not peaceful. If it is not a chainsaw or a leaf blower, it's a great big tractor doing the rounds. Okay, just for you guys, I went and had a nosy over the fence to see what the noise is. It is not a chainsaw, it is not a leaf blower, it is a hedge trimmer. We have silence, so let's get started. One of the best glimpses into the Brontes' love for animals comes from Emily's diary papers. One entry was written when Emily was 16 and Anne was just 14, and it gives us a glimpse of the imagination they had when it came to naming their animals. It says, November the 24th, 1834, Monday. Emily Jane Brontë, Anne Brontë. I fed Rainbow, Diamond, Snowflake, Jasper Pheasant. A later diary entry from 1841 captures a snapshot of the daily lives at the parsonage and the beloved animals. It says, a paper to be opened when Anne is 25 years old or my next birthday after, if all be well. Emily Jane Brontë, July the 30th, 1841. It is Friday evening, near 9 o'clock. Wild rainy weather. I am seated in the dining room, having just concluded tidying our desk boxes. Writing this document. Papa is in the parlour. Aunt upstairs in her room. She has been reading Blackwood magazine to Papa. Victoria and Adelaide are ensconced in the peat house, Keeper in the kitchen, Nero in his cage. I mean, these diary pages gives us this window into this daily life at the Haworth Parsonage and shows just how much a part of the household their animals were. One of the first dogs known to have lived at the parsonage was Grasper, not Casper, but Grasper, a small terrier beloved by Emily. She was so attached to him that she would share her breakfast with him, a gesture that kind of highlights her deep affection for animals. Emily made this really delicate pencil sketch of Grasper, preserving his image on paper forever. Emily's love for animals kind of extends beyond dogs. She was particularly drawn to the wild, and one of the most striking connections was with Nero, a hawk we think that she rescued from the moors. She took care of him as he grew stronger, demonstrating both her compassion and this affinity with untamed nature. Nero was mentioned in both the 1834 diary entry and, as I just said before, in 1841, so we know that he lived for a good number of years. Unless, of course, Emily named all her hawks Nero, and then that argument just goes out the window, really, doesn't it? Perhaps the most famous of all the Bronte pets was Keeper. I mean, he was a large, imposing, Mastiff-style dog who was devoted to Emily. He was fiercely protective of her, and he would follow her everywhere, and he was even known for lying outside her door when he wasn't allowed into her room or if she was unwell. Keeper's loyalty lasted beyond Emily's life. And when she fell seriously ill in 1848, she insisted on feeding him herself, even in her final days. It was a mark of her character, her stubbornness, her independence, and this unwavering love for her animals. Keeper was with Emily when she died on the 19th of December 1848, and after her passing, he was seen lying outside her bedroom door, like he did when she was alive, and he was refusing to move, mourning for his lost mistress. After Emily's death, he lived on at the parsonage, as sort of a lingering reminder of Emily's deep connection with her beloved animals. Anne's dog, on the other hand, Flossie, was a King Charles Spaniel, and Flossie was given to her by the Robinson family during her time as a governess. But unlike this imposing Keeper, Flossie was this small, affectionate companion, and always by Anne's side. In 1843, Anne made a drawing of Flossie, a touching image that reflected how much she adored him. Flossie remained with Anne throughout her life and her later years, and was still with her when she became ill. It's likely that he offered her great comfort in those final moments and months. And after Anne's death in 1849, Flossie was cared for by Anne's sister Charlotte, the remaining sister. In the years after all his children had passed away, Patrick Bronte acquired two dogs, Cato and Plato. They were crossed between Newfoundlands and either a retriever or spaniels, I can't quite be sure. These dogs became his constant companions, offering him comfort and company in his later years, when that once lively parsonage must have become quite quiet and not quite the same. The Brontes' family cats, and I'm sure they had many, particularly Tiger and Tom, played an important role in the household beyond being affectionate companions. Tiger was a grey tabby and Tom a black cat, and they were both skilled hunters, helping to control the mouse population in the parsonage. Despite their roles as hunters, both Tiger and Tom were also beloved pets, treated with great care and affection by the Bronte siblings. These cats would have been a source of comfort and companionship, especially during those quieter, more sort of solitary moments of the Brontes' lives. Alongside their dogs, cats, birds and what have you, the Brontes also kept geese. They had two named Victoria and Adelaide, after Queen Victoria and her mother. And these geese would have roamed the parsonage yard, and their presence adding to this very busy household of animals. I mean, can you imagine the noise that they would have made when people came to the back gate? They would have been more like guard geese. I'm sure over the years many more animals came and went at the parsonage without ever being recorded. And while we know several of the beloved pets, there were likely others whose names and obviously stories have been lost in time. But given the Brontes' love for animals, it's likely that over the years they cared for many creatures that never made it into their surviving writings. Of all the Brontes, Emily had the most profound connection with animals. She was known for her ability to train and control them, and her bond with her dog, Keeper, was legendary. When she worked as a teacher at Law Hill School, she reportedly, and this makes me laugh, told her pupils that she cared more for the house dog than for them. A remark that, whilst harsh, I don't know, reflects her deep preference for animals over human company. One of the most striking stories of Emily Bronte's devotion to animals centres around an incident in which she was bitten by a dog. According to Charlotte Bronte, Emily once noticed a dog passing the parsonage and its head was drooping and its tongue was hanging out. Concerned for the animal, she tried to offer it a bowl of water, but the dog, possibly in pain or fear, snapped at her and bit her hand. Realising the dog might have rabies or be rabid, however you say it, Emily was acutely aware of the danger and acted swiftly to treat the wound. Rather than seeking medical help, she took a red-hot iron from the fire and cauterised the bite herself. I mean, this act of self-reliance was typical of Emily, whose independence and stoic nature was well known. However, the wound and the cauterisation may have led to an infection which caused her considerable illness, including bilious attacks and general weakness. This illness was diagnosed as escapilius, a painful and potentially dangerous inflammation. While it remains unverified, some have suggested that this illness might have been linked to the dog bite incident that Charlotte mentioned and described in her novel Shirley, possibly drawing from her own recollection of Emily's condition. Emily, ever the private and determined person, said nothing about the incident, can you believe that, until she was sure the danger had passed, fearing that her family might overreact and make an unnecessary fuss. This story not only highlights Emily's deep care for animals, but also her remarkable fortitude in the face of injury and illness. Emily also defended animals in her writing. Whilst studying in Brussels, she wrote an essay in praise of cats, challenging that widely held belief that they were all cruel or ungrateful. She argued that these supposed faults were merely reflections of human nature, pointing out that many people often judged animals unfairly. In her typically blunt style, she dismissed negative opinions about cats and stated simply, "I like cats." There's an image by Emily of Keeper and Flossie with Tiger the cat, and to me this further highlights the importance of cats as well as dogs in her life, showing the deep affection she had for her animal companions. So today's mug, we have A Room of One's Own by Virginia Woolf in the classic penguin mug style. And it's really nice to be outdoors drinking a cup of tea. I mean, you don't get that on a dog walk, do you? So yeah, maybe that's what the universe was doing. It was telling me to come home and have a drink rather than marching about with the dog. Even though the dog is very happy, he is mooching about in the garden. He's sniffing and having a little bit of a roll on the grass. And then here comes another tractor. And there goes the tractor. That's the only thing about being at the bottom of the garden. It's near a small road that goes through the village, so you get to hear the traffic. Never mind, come on, let's get going. There is a story that often circulates about Emily Brontë and her dog Keeper, which has led many to think of her as cruel. The tale comes from The Life of Charlotte Brontë by Elizabeth Gaskell, who recounts that Emily, in a moment of frustration, allegedly struck Keeper after he'd slept on the best bed. According to Gaskell, Keeper had been warned before about his sleeping habits, and Emily reacted by hitting him quite viciously. Gaskell also mentions that Emily was deeply upset by her actions, as she had a profound affection for Keeper. However, it is important to approach the story with caution. I mean, Mrs. Gaskell's biography, although written with all the best intentions, is based on second-hand accounts. I mean, Gaskell never met Emily. The story about Emily and Keeper was told to Gaskell by another who knew the Brontë family, but there is no first-hand account or written documentation from any of the members of the Brontë family to confirm that this actual incident happened. It's worth also noting that this portrayal of Emily is quite out of character with the rest of what we know about her. Emily was incredibly devoted to Keeper, and their bond was central to her life at the parsonage. And while, yes, okay, it is possible that in a rare moment of frustration she may have reacted sharply, the idea of Emily actually being cruel to Keeper doesn't fit with this overall affection and care that she showed him. So while Mrs. Gaskell's story is widely repeated, there is no solid evidence to support it, and it remains part of this sort of Bronte folklore, but it's important not to let this one moment define Emily's character. I mean, especially when we know just how much she did love her pets. It was just starting to get a bit chilly, so I've come back into my room again, and I'm still not going to show you my finished room yet because it's not finished. So instead we will sit on the floor again, but it's lovely and warm in here for where the sun's been on it. The Brontes' deep love of animals naturally found its way into their fiction. Dogs in particular appear frequently in their novels, often serving as companions or protectors or even reflections of their own personalities. However, the Brontes did not shy away from depicting the cruelty that animals could suffer, mirroring both the harsh realities of their time and their own strong feelings on the subject. In Jane Eyre, one of the most memorable animals is of course Pilot, Mr. Rochester's faithful dog. Described as a large sturdy creature, he is thought to have been a Landseer, is that how you say it? Newfoundland, a breed known for its intelligence and protective nature. I mean, throughout the novel, Pilot serves as a silent guardian, appearing at these key moments, most notably when Jane first encounters Rochester on the road, an encounter that sets her entire story in motion. In Wuthering Heights, Emily portrays both the deep loyalty of animals and that darker side of human nature through their treatment. Dogs are ever present, mirroring the temperament of their owners. Heathcliff's cruelty is made horrifically clear when he is seen hanging a litter of puppies from a chair, a shocking act that, cemented his ruthlessness. Later, when Isabel Linton attempts to leave him, he ties up her poor spaniel and leaves it to suffer, another instance of calculated brutality. One of the most disturbing moments in the novel comes when a dog is found hanging from a gate. I mean, it's a stark image of suffering that sort of underscores the novel's unflinching depiction of cruelty. Yet not all of Wuthering Heights' depictions of animals are violent. I mean, in the novel, at the closing chapters, you got Harton Earnshaw. I mean, he stood shown with a dog by his side. And to me, that's a symbol of the softer nature and the possibility of redemption. Then you look at Charlotte Bronte's Shirley. It also features a significant canine presence in the form of Tartar, the loyal, imposing dog belonging to Shirley. Tartar, a powerful Mastiff-style dog, I wonder who this is fiercely protective of his mistress, reinforcing her strong and independent nature. His unwavering loyalty and strength makes him an extension of Shirley herself, emphasising her commanding presence and defiance of the social norms and expectations. Anne Bronte, known for her deep compassion for both people and animals, waves their presence into the tenant of Wildfowl Hall, where the treatment of animals serves as a reflection of character. Gilbert Markham's hunting dog reinforces his role as this country gentleman, but his casual attitude toward the dog also hints at his limitations in understanding those more vulnerable than himself. Hunting and animal mistreatment are referenced throughout the novel, subtle critiquing the indifference of many Victorian countrymen towards suffering. Similarly, in Agnes Grey, Anne makes a strong moral statement through the way animals are treated. The spoilt children Agnes is hired to teach take pleasure in tormenting birds and other small creatures, and their cruelty is a sign of their lack of moral guidance. Agnes is obviously horrified by their behaviour and finds her protests dismissed by their indifferent parents, a moment that sort of highlights Anne's belief that kindness towards animals is inseparable from a person's true character. The Brontes did not merely include animals as background details in their novels, they used them to reveal the nature of human characters. I mean, whether it's Pilot's unwavering loyalty in Jane Eyre, or Heathcliff's shocking cruelty in Wuthering Heights, or the moral lessons embedded in Agnes Grey, depiction of animals are deeply symbolic. Sometimes they offer companionship and protection, and other times they're victims of human brutality. The Brontes' understanding of the bond between humans and animals shines through in their work, making their novels all that much richer for it. Just as the Brontes endured profound personal loss, they also suffered the sorrow of losing their cherished pets. Keeper, Emily's beloved and fiercely loyal dog, lived for several years after her death, remaining at the parsonage as that constant presence. However, on the 1st of December 1854, less than 3 weeks before the 6th anniversary of Emily's passing, Keeper himself died. He'd been unwell for only a single night before he, as Charlotte says, went gently to sleep the following morning. Charlotte wrote to her friend Ellen Nussey saying, "We laid his old faithful head in the garden." His loss was keenly felt, and even poor Anne's dog Flossie appeared subdued in the days that followed. "Flossie is dull and misses him," Charlotte noted. She also reflected on how some have suggested Keeper should have been put down in his old age, but she and her father had resisted the idea, writing, "There was something very sad in losing that old dog, yet I'm glad he met a natural fate. People kept hinting that he ought to be put away, which neither Papa nor I like to think of." Almost exactly 3 years later, poor Anne's dog Flossie followed Keeper into death. Charlotte wrote to Ellen of his passing saying, "Did I tell you that our poor little Flossie is dead? He dropped for a single day and died quietly in the night without pain. The loss, even of a dog, was very saddening, yet perhaps no dog ever had such a happier life or an easier death." The parsonage garden, which has witnessed so much life and death over the years, continued to be a place where memories of the Brontes family's pets lingered. Though there is no definitive evidence about the exact resting place of these animals, it's often said that their bodies lie close to the home that they once loved. Sort of a poignant reminder of the companionship that they provided throughout both the joyous and the sorrowful times. Items like Keeper's collar was kept as a memento, symbolising the lasting bond that the Brontes shared with their pets. These animals, though no longer physically present, remains part of the parsonage, their memory intertwined with the family's daily lives. Even after his children were gone, Patrick Bronte continued to find companionship in animals, what with Plato and Cato. These dogs were his companions in the otherwise very quiet parsonage, providing him with the company that he often shared with his family. When Arthur Bell Nichols, Charlotte's widower, left Haworth in 1861 to return to Ireland after Patrick's death, he took Plato and Cato with him, ensuring they would continue to be cared for. The Brontes' love for their animals was evident throughout their lives, and even in their final years, the presence of their father's pet brought them comfort. These animals were not merely pets, but they were true members of the household, offering companionship and solace through years of both joy but also sorrow. I've got one very hot dog. If you've been messing about in the garden, have I got a treaty for you? Yes, I have. Yeah, if you've been messing about, it's very hot and a bit soggy. Have you found something to play in? I can't break it in half, it's too big. Ooh, you're going to have a whole one. Yeah, you're going to have a whole treaty. Here you go then, nicely. Good boy. You're all soggy, have you? Spit back. But yes, this is Frank. He's my daughter's dog. He's very much loved. He's a golden doodle, so half poodle, half golden retriever. Yeah, I had to think then. And she loves him to bits. And he's been messing about with a tennis ball in the garden, and that's why he's very hot. Aren't you? What is, look. Oh, hello. No, don't lick the camera. You can look, but don't lick. I'm being blinded by the sun. I can't see what I'm doing. Oh, let's go back to... Oh, dropping everything. Oh my goodness, dog, what's going on? It's my battery came off. My battery charger. Because my battery's going on me thingy. Right, start again, shall we? I've got no idea if any of this is recorded. It's probably just chaos of me dropping things and noise and tractors. That made the floor vibrate. Stark image that set me coughing. Excuse me, quick drinky poos. Oh, you stink. I've completely forgotten what I was going to say. Hello. The Brontes' love of animals was a defining feature of their lives, shaping both their personal experiences and their literary creations. The pets were more than just companions, they were family members who provided comfort and joy and inspiration. The devotion they showed to their animals offers us a touching glimpse into their personalities. Don't drink my drink! It's just drank out of my glass. This is crazy. The devotion they show to their animals offers us a glimpse of a touching... No, it doesn't. It offers us a touching glimpse into their personalities, revealing a deep sensitivity and empathy that is reflected in their novels. Do you think the Bronte siblings' strong bond with their animals influenced their writing? If so, how? And what do you think Patrick felt about having a house full of crazy animals? Are you going to sit down now? Let me know in the comments below. So thank you for watching today, and if you like this video, please do the whole likey subscribey thing, because it really does help me out and it lets YouTube know that we want to watch more Bronte content. Oh, he's really hot on me as well. Have a good weekend, and I will see you the week after next, because we're going every 2 weeks now, for more Bronte adventures. Take care, and yeah, you've got to stare at a dog's bottom. What am I doing? This is crazy.